Good morning. Good morning. It is another beautiful day. It's a cold day, but it's a beautiful day. Welcome to the Open Mic Broadcast Network and welcome to another edition of the Mike Prince Show. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We come to you each and every day right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Thank you guys so much for all your positive energy that's been flowing on here within the past few weeks with the show. It's still amazing to me that some of you are just now discovering us, but hey, it's better late than never, right? So with all that being said, reminding each and every one of you that you can follow us on Twitter at Radio Guy. Instagram is Radio Guy 22. The Open Mic Broadcast Network brand can be found on YouTube and Facebook. And don't forget, we have a 24-hour message line where you, the listener, the people, can call in, leave your information, leave your tidbits, leave your concerns, comments. All you have to do is dial 713-570-6736. And, of course, our 24-hour low-tech app, if you would allow me to say it as such, is simply locking in a phone number where you can listen to our broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. And that number is 605-477-5066. Let us get into today's episode. As you may or may not have been aware, Willie Simmons addressed the FAMU crowd on yesterday in his press conference debut. And my question to you is, what did you hear? I know what you may have heard and listened to and were honed in on, but what did you hear other than the 5-year $300,000 a year? Yeah, we heard that. That was the obvious. What did you hear? I'll tell you what I heard. I heard a man who was excited to be back home. The first thing he echoed was, "I'm home." Very powerful. He actually repeated it twice, and you could tell it was an emotional moment for him. But he echoed, "I'm home." And he went on and he said all the right things you're supposed to say. And, he went on and got through his press conference. But I heard relief. Yeah, I'd be happy. I'm getting $300K a year to come home and coach in front of my family. Life is grand. But I also heard some other things throughout this press conference. I heard that FAMU had 5,400 season ticket holders. And they're trying to up that goal, which in fact had doubled in the last 3 years. And if we recheck, the last 3 years had not been glory years of FAMU football. But their ticket sales had increased. And I heard the goal now was to push for 10,000. I tell you what else I heard. I heard the statement being made that we were preparing for a winner. Despite everything that was not going right, the people still bought into the program. Regardless who was leading the program, if it was their guy or not, we are going to invest in us so when we do get the guy we want, we'll already be in position. We don't have to make a mad scramble to try and get ready for things because things will already be in place. That's what I heard. I also heard that when the top two of the committee search discussed who was on the short list, they came up with the same name. They said, well, let's cut this short and let's go get who we want. Let's not settle. Let's go get who we want. Let's make whatever needs to happen to bring in who we want. That's what I heard. So with all that being said, do you hear what I hear? You don't get right when someone comes on board. You make it right for someone to come on board. And I saw a lot of potential on how things could be for other HBCUs. I also heard that during their dismal time, the people were still filling the seats. Not maybe to capacity, but they have a 23,000 seat stadium down at FAMU, but they were averaging 19,000 a game. That's a pretty significant number. I take those numbers any day of the week and twice on Sunday. So, if you allow me to refer back to an old church song, get right, church, and let's go home. We may mention that the page of that book has been turned. It's time to move forward. A lot of things still remain to be discovered, if you would. Remember, December 20th is still looming up over us. And because of that, there's work to be done. Alabama State has filled their head coaching vacancy. Congratulations to Coach Donald Hill-Ely. He stepped in when they relieved Jenkins of his duties and took what was a dysfunctional Alabama State Hornet team and quietly ended up with a 5-6 record. Enough for second place in the Eastern Division of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Now here's the question for that. I'm just throwing it out there. It was the same group of young men did they quit on Coach Jenkins? Did they hold back? Or could it be the opposite? Coach Hill-Ely was the one that knew how to push the magic button. I believe it was agreed upon for a 2-year deal. And we'll see where Hornet Nation goes from there. Meanwhile, back at the camp, you still have vacancies that need to be filled by Mississippi Valley, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Prairie View A&M University within the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We won't even touch on the MEAC today. We'll keep it in the SWAC. So we know that when a head coach leaves, he takes a lot of his staff with him to the next gig. We talked about all of that. There are some potential candidates for the PV job in particular that we have mulled and discussed upon. We know that Jerry Mack is off the scene. He's the OC at Rice. Others had talked about Coach Sims from Bethune-Cookman possibly being a candidate to come to Prairie View. Could be a reach, but hey, anything is possible in this new millennium. We had some other interesting factors. Of course, the hot name for everyone that has a vacancy within the HBCU ranks is Eric Dooley, the OC from Grambling. And by the way, there is an HBCU Celebration Bowl this weekend between North Carolina A&T and Grambling State Tigers, and that should be a phenomenal game. Comes on at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on ESPN. And as OTO would say, get your popcorn ready, baby. And yes, I said cone. But that should be a very, very interesting game. Dooley is by far the hottest candidate for anyone that has a vacancy. And you have to make mention of Clarence McKinney, even though some say he's a joint to the hip with Summerlin, and he probably will go wherever Summerlin ends up. But it's still a legitimate name to bring out. We can't forget the likes and the battle cry from PV Nation of bring back Frazier. Bring back Frazier. Of course, I'm referring to Henry Frazier, who brought the Panthers the championship in 2009. But there's another name that has been making some leeway within the last week or so. But before we get that, and that is Johnny Holland. For those of you who may not be aware of who Johnny Holland is, he is considered to be a local native son from the Belleville area, Texas A&M Aggie, played a little professional football with the Green Bay Packers. He has a pretty extensive coaching career, coaching resume, I should say. As we may mention, he played with the Packers from 1987 to 1993. As a coach, he coached the Green Bay Packers and linebackers from 1995 to 1997. He was what they call a defensive quality control coach for Green Bay in 1998. Not exactly sure what that is, but it was duly noted. He also served as a special teams coach for the Green Bay Packers in 1999. He served as a linebackers coach for the Seattle Seahawks in 2000. He was assistant special teams coach and assistant strength coach and conditioning coach for the Seattle Seahawks 2001 to 2002. Linebackers coach for the Detroit Lions 2003 to 2004. Defensive assistant with the Detroit Lions 2005. linebackers coach with the Houston Texans from 2006 to 2010. Oakland Raiders, he served as a linebackers coach in 2012. He then went to the Canadian League to serve as linebackers coach for the BC Lions from 2014 to 2015. And his last coaching assignment was 2016 with the Cleveland Browns. A lot of coaching experience on the NFL level. A lot of assistant jobs. But not much as far as head coaching or offensive or defensive coordinator. In this case, would be more of a defensive coordinator due to his background, even though I've seen guys transition over. Would Holland be a good fit with Prairie View? Could be not. Whatever the case may be, whoever the next individual is, I really hope and pray that we don't get caught up in a bidding war and overpay for whoever the next person comes to be. That's just my little 2 cents, if you would. By the way, you are listening to the Mike Prince Show. We come to you daily right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You can follow me on Twitter at Radio Guy. Instagram is Radio Guy 22. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network, such as the Facebook page, Open Mic Broadcast Network, OPEN, capital MIC. That is all one word. Broadcast Network. Our 24-hour message line where you, the listener, can call in and leave your message, leave your thoughts, leave your comments at 713-570-6736. You can also leave us messages on our social media. We respond to all of those things. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Brother Tony Young, as he has been chiming in, and we've been relaying some of his thoughts and concerns, just as we would do for you. And it doesn't just have to be about Prairie View. It could be about the SWAC, the MEAC, whatever the case may be, because we consider what we do is a service. And because we consider this a service, it's something that we're truly passionate about. I am a product of this Southwestern Athletic Conference. I am a product of Prairie View. And yes, it is true, Prairie View produces productive people. But so does the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And I feel as if it is part of my duty to make sure that we're going to tell the story, but we're going to tell the story correctly. We're not going to bash, but sometimes when you tell the truth, it appears that you're bashing. And that is not our intent at all. We simply want to share the facts. I don't want to get caught up in the gossip and the hoopla, and as we make mention all the time, I don't care if I don't get it first. But when I deliver it, I want to deliver it to where it makes sense, even to a 2-year-old. And with that being said, there were some other major moves made and some other moves to be made. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we will make this note. Jackson State has made a move. They have relieved Willa Brown of his athletic director duties, which means that Jackson State are now on the clock to get an athletic director. We know that Tony Hughes had to make a few coaching changes to help realign and adjust Jackson State's way of moving and addressing things. So now, with the athletic director being relieved of duties, is going to bring about a little bit more pressure on everybody with the next AD that comes in. And a lot of people are saying, well, who would the next AD be? PV Nation, do not be alarmed if Jackson State does not dangle a carrot in front of Ashley Robinson. Do not be alarmed. If you really look at it, it would somewhat make sense. What are you talking about now, Prince? Ashley Robinson is a young man. He is considered to be an out-the-box thinker, innovative, creative, and he happens to be from Jackson, Mississippi. We've just experienced Willie Simmons returning home. Don't you think that could be at least a considering factor of a possible return for Ashley Robinson? Yes, he played at Mississippi Valley, but his home is Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is a good job. Jackson State is a good job. And if we're going to look at this from another business perspective, it would make all the sense in the world. I believe Ashley has completed 4 years at Prairie View. He has his resume built. His name has been floating around as one of the potential candidates to go to the Southwestern Athletic Conference commissioner's office. So the qualifications would be there. He has familiarity with the Jackson State tradition. He definitely has familiarity with the Southwestern Athletic Conference tradition. So why wouldn't they at least talk to the brother? So PV, keep your seatbelt on. The ride might not be over just yet. So there are a lot of things that are in the air. And all it is in the air. Who knows what the next move is going to be, but don't be surprised if that is one of them. Another piece to the puzzle. Prairie View has a new president. Who knows what the vision and the direction of the new president is? You've already completed 4 years. The new president might say, well, we want to go in another direction. Makes that carrot look a little bit more tempting that would be dangling from Jackson State. There are a whole lot of uncertainties, open-ended questions that need to be filled as far as the athletic history and future of Panther sports. That's what makes all of this exciting and interesting, innovative, because no one knows. But I tell you what, we'll keep our ear to the ground and our eyes open on what develops throughout the conference, and in particular at Prairie View A&M University. I have got to exit stage left. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Remember, follow me on Twitter at Radio Guy, Instagram, Radio Guy 22. The website is obn-radio.com. YouTube is Open Mic Broadcast Network. Facebook is Open Mic Broadcast Network. Don't forget to leave your message, thoughts, and concerns on the message line at 713-570-6736. And if you're on the move, listen to us through our low-tech app. Lock that number on your phone, 605-477-5066, and pass it on. Don't forget, hashtag PV Gold. I want my PV Gold back. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. You guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.